We are all connected through shared experiences, and while our circumstances may vary, there is almost always a common thread in our stories. I am Amy Seaman, and these are the stories that connect us. Oh, hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of A Common Thread podcast. I'm your host, Amy Seaman, and today I have with me a familiar voice to many of you, Madeline Nachbar. Madeline is back.
Hey.
She has not been back since we paused the pod, so excited to have her. If you don't remember, Madeline is the Trend and Style editor for MSP Mag and a dear friend of mine. So we are going to talk today some style, of course, always. We're also going to talk about some parenting stuff because Madeline is in the thick of it, and I really remember vividly these days. So we've been chatting a lot recently, and I was like, let's take this to the pod because I feel like it's a conversation many will relate to.
Like I said, I'm an open book. Like every parent goes through it in different kind of waves and different levels of intensity for sure.
Yes.
And I have a 4 and almost 3-year-old. So we're just kind of in it right now. We're
Yeah,
underwater. We've got a lot of feelings. And
big
every
feelings.
morning you never know what you're going to get with them.
Let's start with that. What
Okay.
happened to you this morning?
So funny,
You were texting
because
on the
Amy had
radio.
asked. She's like, "Do you want to talk about this stuff?" I said, "Totally." And I had confided in you, knowing that you two have maybe 1-2 spirited children yourself.
Yes, I do.
And I love it. We call them spicy in our family. Obviously not like I didn't coin the term, but because they're going to grow up to be fascinating people, right?
Yeah.
But our son in particular, he is spicy. Came out of the womb spicy. We had colic. We had everything. He gives us a run for our money. Love him dearly. He's so fun. But this morning was so interesting. So we're just in kind of a big feelings phase right now. And I've been doing a ton of research too, like boys, especially at certain ages, get like this testosterone surge too, you know? And then add to that, I have a kid that has a harder time just processing those feelings.
Yeah.
And when they get kind of dysregulated, and you never know, like, you know how transitions with kids can be hard too, like
Yep.
moving through like your morning routines, all of that. This morning was great. Woke up happy, all of that. He was playing with this fun little like sensory, almost like Play-Doh like kit this morning. His sister was already dressed and ready to go. We were trying to get them in the car, and so I just kind of walked over and tried to help him like pack it up and put his clothes on, and he just kind of lost it, like super upset. And you know what? For the first time in his life, or my life, I got called a bad mom.
Oh, and he's 4, and
He's
this
4.
is the first time?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Oh, that's good to hear, because I was like, he's so young to be saying this. Like, what's going to happen when he's...
I am unfazed by it
Okay.
at this point. I still get it. My kids are 10 and 12, and when
Okay.
they get mad, sometimes I still get.
Yeah, and I am no stranger to this too. Like every time I find myself getting frustrated, it's like you're cut from my cloth. Like you got certain characteristics or traits from either myself or Eric, my husband, all of that. And I've done that. Think about things that you said to your parents, just like, God, that was awful. He just got so dysregulated and was like, you're just mad and angry and couldn't really communicate. Like he just didn't want to stop playing, get ready for his day, call me a bad mom. And instead of losing my cool, I felt like Dr. Becky, all those like literally like Dr. Becky for Prez. Just things that I follow on Instagram and just try to take like little tidbits and tips and tricks when those things happen instead of losing your cool too. Like they're gonna match your energy, right?
Yeah.
And like you have to be the safe space. So I pat myself on the back. I was like, I'm gonna get on his level, and I gave him a hug, and he just lost it and started crying uncontrollably. And I realized he felt guilty for what he said because I kept my cool and I was like, I know you don't mean that, sweetie. Like. I try so hard to, make your life great and do everything for you and all this stuff. And I just gave him a big hug. What did he need in that moment? To put his head on my shoulder, and just cried. And I said, do you feel bad for what you said? He goes, yeah. Because Willa, his sister's next to him going, you're not a bad mom. Like, you could be my mom forever. And like, now he's just like, oh my gosh, yeah. And so it was just like one of those moments where it doesn't always work. But yeah, it's humbling for sure.
Jude sounds so much like Declan, who is now 12, but when he, similar, came out of the womb angry, like just colicky, cried all the time. He was born in November, so like dead of winter. I'm home alone. My husband worked downtown, and he would take the bus into work, and sometimes like the bus would get stuck because of traffic, and so he'd be really late. I would call him. This is what a bitch I was. I would call him, and I would just hold the phone to Declan screaming, and then I'd be like, can't wait to see you. I'm like, hang up.
Yeah.
I'm
fine.
Get home now. Just losing it. But I will say, so we went through this. I don't think Declan really liked me until he was about 5. And when I had a boy, everybody was like, oh, because I'm girly in fashion. I wouldn't say like in my personality so much, but in style, everyone thought I would have a girl. And when I had a boy, everyone's like, oh, well, boys just love their moms. It's so great. I'm like, this kid don't even like me. Like, we're not, I just want to like at this point.
He wanted a new mom.
He wanted nothing to do with me. It was so hard. It was so hard. Big feelings, outbursts for 45 minutes, totally. And like full body tantrums. You're throwing yourself on the floor. He was going to a Montessori school for a little bit, and they would call me daily thinking that he had some sort of sensory disorder because he would try to like rip his clothes off. Well, come to find out, I was still trying to dress him like this cute little like Gap model, and he just hated buttons. And so I was like, fine, I'll stop with the buttons.
These guys want like a shirt with a truck on it.
Yeah, it was really hard. But what I will say is now he is very intuitive. He's a super empathetic kid. He can express his feelings really well. And I think that part of that is because we talked so much about feelings when he was younger that now he's amazing. And he's like my dude. Like we have a really great relationship now. So it will get better for sure. And but it's really hard because you, like you said, you have to stay calm.
And you have to keep your cool, and it's really hard. Like we're all human.
And I can yell. Like I can be a yeller.
Yes, totally. Jude's different in the sense where we find it happens more to me than to Eric because I think I'm his safe space. Like we're very close. But even Jude also is at a Montessori, and we've actually weirdly never had any. He doesn't have tantrums at school. He saves it all and bottles it up, and then he gets home and feels safe, right, and kind of unloads. Like there's a lot of that goes on at those. I mean, they're young and there's so much action, and sometimes it's like you just have to brace yourself for that. Like 30 minutes after school, it's like they're just unloading everything, you know? So part of me just tries to remind myself, like, he feels safe and at home with me, and I'm kind of his person, even though it's very hard when they tell you you're a bad mom or that they don't like you.
But then also when they know right away that, like, they feel guilty, you're like, oh, so you do have
that was refreshing. Yeah, like, wow, we're developing that empathy. Yes, because for a while I'm like, are you a monster?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Oh, it's so hard. And you're doing, and I told you this the other day, but I'm like, you're doing all the right things. It's, every child's individualized, and I was like, I started a parenting and style blog when Declan turned 3. 3s were the worst for us. And that was when I was getting calls almost daily at the office from daycare because he was having these epic meltdowns. And I was like, what do you want? It made it worse. I'm like, I'm not there. Right. I don't know what to do. I can only leave guilt. Yes, and anxiety, and I can only leave work so many times to go get him. And then it became this point of like, well, I also didn't want him, like if I went and rescued him every time he wanted to leave and threw a fit, like then he knows that if I do this, I will get to leave this place. Yep. And so it was really hard to know like where to draw the line in the sand. But I decided I needed a creative outlet, so I found humor in the madness. Like that was what worked for me. So I, instead of getting so worked up, I was like, this is actually really funny. Like the things that they're melting down about are like hilarious.
Oh, I ripped his like pita bread in half, and I ruined dinner time the other day because he wanted it whole.
Yes, I remember one time I made mashed potatoes. He wanted mashed potatoes with gravy because he likes how they do it at school, and I had to like have it dented in the center so that the gravy, like I couldn't get it exactly as it looked at school. I'm like, school mashed potatoes and gravy is nasty. Like,
give him a box.
Right? Like, give me some credit. But it was just so insane. And so I would just start, like, telling the stories. It was not, like, you didn't go to this blog for tips. Yeah. Like, this was just, like, this is the story of what happened.
You're not alone. Like,
what's funny now is that, so he's going into 7th grade, but he was telling me last year that he's like, Mom, he's like, you know that my friends have Googled me and your blog comes up with these stories? And I was like, oh, I guess I didn't think that far ahead of like at some point he will read this. And I was like, well, does that embarrass you? He's like, no, actually. He's like, it's kind of funny. He's like, they talk about this one where I was like all mad about some like chicken nuggets and you called me Caillou and the spicy chicken nuggets. And he's like, and so I'm like, okay, as long as you're okay with it.
That's really funny.
But I do, like, I don't even know if I know how to access that blog anymore on the back end, but I do kind of like want to someday print it off and give it to them and their parent and be like, oh, let me show you the stories.
One other thing that I've learned too is, to your point about not, giving in to picking him up when he's having these moments, is I've learned that Eric and I were getting into this bad habit of empty threats, idle threats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because, if you're doing something fun and maybe they're not behaving the way that they should, that you want them to be behaving, or they're not listening. And I found us always being like, oh, if you don't, then we're not going to do this. Yeah. And we weren't following through. Mm-hmm. And lately we've been like, no, if we say that, and if he does one more thing that, if you spit one more time, we're not doing this. If you hit your sister with your love you one more time, we're not doing this. And it's like, we followed through actually with those threats 3 to 5 times now. It's like, he understands that like those actions will come with consequences. Mm-hmm. I was like, he's not taking us seriously.
Yeah.
He knows that we're going to do we're still going to go to the park. Yeah. We're still going to do this, and so it's like been a learning curve for us for sure, but just like actually carrying through and sticking with those threats. It's
Yeah.
like, we're not trying to be bad parents and punish anybody, but like, you have to understand, right? That
For sure. And it's hard too, because sometimes I feel like not everything requires a punishment. Like sometimes it's like, that's not really what they need right now. Like they're so out of control that like, is punishing them actually the right method? And sometimes it's like, yeah, like that is the only option, but it's hard too when you're somewhere you're like, I actually don't want to leave. Yeah. So do you threaten them like, we're going to leave this pool, but you're like, actually, I don't want to leave the pool right now.
I just got to do gin and tonic. Like,
yeah. It's about time for an Aperol spritz. Like, you're good, just chill. It's so hard. The only thing that really ended up working for us too when he would have these epic meltdowns is we would create like a safe space. So when he was calm, we would talk about like when you're out of control, like what makes you feel good. And it was really just like, if you can just sit with him and get him to like hug. Carter, when he, came up a few years later and we found ourselves in the similar teenager stage. For him, I would create this like spa experience. And so I would have Alexa play spa music, and I would get either a wet or cold rag, and I would give him, you always got to give kids choices.
Yeah.
Do you want a hot rag or a cold rag? And he would lay down in his bed, my bed or your bed, and then we'd put the rag over his face until he'd calm down. And it worked, and he would get to a point where he'd be really upset. He'd go, put on the spa music, bring me my rag.
It's like,
Yes.
Cucumbers on his eyes.
Yes. Now, no wonder they all love the like spa and the skincare and shit. But it worked. Yeah, right. I mean, it was just like that was like the thing that worked for him. So you just have to figure out like what can get them calmest the quickest, because it is so painful when it spreads out for 45 minutes.
They hit this point of no return. Yeah. The choices thing is really funny. I just saw an Instagram like video or meme about this mom and how truly we are just like these kids bitches, right? Like like trying to keep things at bay, whether it's emotions, all that. And choices. It's so funny. There was this video of this mom who's like, it's snack time, and she's like, the girl wanted cheese. The little girl wanted cheese, and she's like, do you want a circled cheese or a string cheese? So it's like a baby bell or a string cheese. Okay. Do you want me to open the wax, or do you want to open the wax? Okay, do you want me to take the cheese out of the wax, or do you want... And then at the end, it was like, oh, you don't want cheese anymore? Like, it's just like, okay, got it. We're going to do something else now. I'm like, that's what we do all day long. Is just like, give them choices so they feel like they're in control, they're in power, but really it's just a game.
Yes. Oh, so funny, because my mom, love her, bless her, she asks a million questions. Like, that is just part of who she's curious, which I think is just such a beautiful characteristic to have, is to be curious. And she really cares about people, and she's very thoughtful, so she wants to know. And the other day, it's been maybe a month now, she got really upset, and she was like kind of holding back tears with me. And I was like, what? And because I was being short with her, and she's like, you're just like really short with me all the time. And I'm like, okay. So then I sat with that, and I was like, I hate that. I would never want anyone to feel like they're walking on eggshells around me, especially my own mother.
Right.
And I do know that I'm short with her because she is my safe space still at 41 years old, right?
You didn't kind of get away with that.
Yeah, but I'm like, why is it? And then I started thinking about it, and I actually did some research and realized that like it's the questions. With my ADHD, I get very overwhelmed by questions, like having to make too many decisions and answer too many questions. And the moment my mom walks into the door, she's immediately got questions. Yeah. And we bounce. We bounce from like, hey, have you heard back on this proposal you sent, to like, hey, do you want me to put this in the fridge, or do you want me to put it on the counter? Do you want me to take it downstairs to the fridge? And it's like this choice thing. It goes back to that choice thing of like, as a kid, we give all these kids choices, but as an adult, like, I don't want this many choices.
Yeah, please do it all for me.
I just want you to like figure out where it needs to go and put it somewhere.
You pick what cheese I'm eating and you open it for me and feed it to me, please.
But it's so funny. It's like, I can't handle that many choices anymore. Sometimes I just need people to make decisions for me because I get so overwhelmed.
Well, decision fatigue is real, especially as a mom.
But I have noticed that Declan is that same way, even though he's not ADHD. Carter's my ADHD kid. But Declan does not like a lot of questions. So I've started to notice that like I can see when his tone changes a bit when I'm talking to him, and then I just know that like conversation's over. Yeah. And I'll continue it later.
Yeah. Like following their lead and just kind of reading.
Yeah. But it made me realize that like I'm not annoying. It's just that he can't handle that many questions right now.
Interesting. So they're just fascinating creatures, and they're all so different. And like the funny thing is, what nobody tells you when you become a parent is like you're figuring it out too. Yeah. Like, and you have to figure, you kind of have to pretend like you have this whole thing mapped out. You know exactly what you're doing, but like everything's kind of trial and error. Like what works with each kid, and every kid is so different. And it's like sometimes you have a little bit of imposter syndrome. You're like, I I don't know what I'm doing, but you know.
Well, and I had Brittany Highbor on a few episodes ago, and she was talking about like our subconscious and how we operate. Like 95% of our decisions and behaviors are based on our subconscious.
Yeah.
And most of that is formed from the time before we're 7. So I'm like, great, I've already completely like fucked up my, like whatever damage is done at this point. Totally. And then you just wait and you're like, well, I guess someday when they start therapy, we'll figure out what I did.
Yeah.
But no, it is fun. I think the thing that where I'm at now, I mean, you're in the thick of just the busy, the hands-on. I am now in this, like, they want independence. And also like it's that tween age, like Declan's going to start going through puberty and the hormones are already shifting as I'm going through perimenopause. Whoever lined that up.
Yeah.
Emotions have been high, hormones are off the charts.
And you can, for what I know, you can hang on perimenopause for a while, right? Like I
started at 38. I'm 41.
Yeah, I have a girl. I mean, I'm almost 35, and I have some girlfriends my age who have been told by their doctors that they are entering into it already. Yeah. And they kind of freaked out. And they're like, "Oh, you could be there for 15 years." Oh, yeah. I'm like, great. Add to the list of the wonders of being a woman.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not fun. And if you're listening and you've noticed, like, Amy sounds different, my voice is real deep right now.
Like Demi Moore. It's
there's a lot of vocal fry happening. I've been sick for 8-9 weeks now. I've lost count. And been to urgent care 4 times. So can't figure out what it is. No idea. It's getting better, but my voice is still like really this deep kind of raspy. Well, I've been doing hormone replacement therapy and I'm taking testosterone shots. So then my hormone specialists were like, let's just pause that for a minute, because I was on a fairly high dose because I was so low. They're like, let's just pause that for a minute and have you test and just like see where you're at. So I just went to get my labs yesterday, so we'll see. But I keep joking that I'm transitioning.
Right. Well, you wear it well. You look great. Prettiest soon-to-be man I've ever seen.
Well, thank you. I'll just own it. This is my journey, I guess.
You're fitting with all those girls who like purposely give themselves vocal fry, you know?
Oh,
They're
sure.
like very like, yeah.
I mean, I do love like Miley Cyrus's voice,
Yeah.
so maybe this will be the new norm. I guess we'll see. It just requires a lot of effort to try to like keep it upbeat.
Yeah.
Like when I really just relax myself, I feel it's like
you've been through the ringer. I feel like with your health.
Yeah, I haven't been this sick well, I shouldn't even say that. There's always something going on. But no, this time was bad. It was like this prolonged cough and started with a sinus infection and then like the prolonged cough and then the voice, and I can feel it heavy in my chest, and they don't know what it is. It's like, it's something, because there's been a lot of people that have been like, I had that or my husband had that, and it's going around. Who knows?
Like, is this long COVID? Like, what is this? Yeah.
Very well could be. I was looking up some of those symptoms the other day. You know, we're just basically our own doctors at this point. We have to Google everything.
Chat, GTP, WebMD.
Yeah. We're all about in stage 4
Am I going to be okay?
Yeah. No, this is why I'm a hypochondriac. Like, I just always think I'm like...
Diagnosis, hypochondria.
Yes, that truly. I think I'm dying at all times. It's summer, which means I've basically become a full-time chauffeur, driving the kids to camps, practices, their weekly Starbucks runs, and hangouts with friends. At this point, I practically live in my car. Thankfully, my Lincoln Aviator makes it all a little more enjoyable. The massage chairs are working overtime to keep my back in check on the long days, and on those hot days, the Lincoln app lets me start the car remotely so the AC is blasting when we get in. Let's also mention the cooling seats, which are a lifesaver so I don't burn my legs on the black leather. Honestly, though, the best part was buying from Apple Autos. The process was easy, stress-free, and fair from the trade-in to the final paperwork. They're a family-owned business that gives back in big ways, from building homes with Habitat for Humanity to funding scholarships for students headed to trade schools and universities. You can follow them on Instagram at AppleAutosMN to see all the ways they support the community. And if you're shopping for a new vehicle, visit one of their 7 Twin Cities locations and tell them A Common Thread sent you. I started hormone replacement therapy in February, and in just a few short months, I finally feel like myself again. My team at Harmony Wellness has truly changed my life. When I first went in, I had a laundry list of symptoms and felt completely defeated after years of searching for answers with no real solutions. But Andrea and Ivy saw me, like really saw me, and their entire practice is dedicated to helping women optimize their health. They're constantly learning, staying ahead of the latest research, and I swear I have them on speed dial with all my questions. I've never once felt rushed or like a burden. They treat me like a partner in my care, not just another appointment. If you've been feeling stuck, I can't recommend Harmony Wellness enough. Book a free consultation and tell them A Common Thread sent you. You don't have to suffer in silence. They're here to help you feel whole again. If you've been to an event in Minneapolis recently, chances are your photo was taken by Profeshi. They've become the go-to photography studio in town. Whether it's headshots at their North Loop studio or capturing a night out with friends at a local event, they always deliver the best shots with the brightest, most memorable backdrops. And let's talk about their turnaround time. You'll get a link to the full event gallery within a few days, and if you book a personal session, you'll actually choose your favorite images to purchase before you even leave the studio. After working with photographers Nick and Taya so many times, they've truly become friends. They have a way of making you feel totally at ease, even if you're not used to being the star of your own show. If you've been putting off updating your headshots, let this be your sign to do it. And if you're stressing about what to wear, I've got you. I'm available as an add-on to your session. Planning your next event? Also think of Profeshi. Head to Profeshi.com to book your shoot today and tell them a common thread sent you. Anyway, okay, let's move on to fashion. So my footwear today.
I had a feeling you were going to wear those today.
I knew. I did it on purpose. Last year, I think it was last summer, the jelly shoes started re-entering the scene for adults.
Yes.
And you had said on the pod, on record, you're like, that is one trend that like I just cannot get behind. They are for children only.
I love them on you. I need to preface.
Do you though?
I really do. I have friends. I see them on like, the New York girlies who've got great taste and some people whose style I really like. I feel like at this point, because I was vocal about it, I need to have this like on my tombstone. It's gonna make Madeline Nachbar, mother of two, like wife, despised jellies. Like it's like I have friends that text me being like, I fell victim. Like, are you triggered? Whatever. Yeah. No, they look really cute on you. Like it's one of those things where you see them on people and you're like, oh, maybe. I've almost purchased those like exact same. Are those Sam Edelman or something? Or
no, these are Amazon.
Okay, cute. But they're like the dupe of the. Is it the Row that makes them or? Anyway, there's like a, but anyway, that is to me, and I'm no, you know me, I love designer, I like luxury, all that. Mm-hmm. That is the most asinine thing to buy from the Row.
Yes.
Or like that to me, that's a whole
It's rubber.
That's
right?
a whole nother conversation. Yes.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about just like, if you're going to buy designer or something,
flip-flops.
like don't do, oh my gosh, totally. Or like, I think the Row even has a pair that look like Reef.
Yes.
They're literally foam at the bottom with just like a almost like a paracord kind of like, anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But the jellies, I don't know. There's something about them where, you know what I think it's more about the mesh, see-through, open, like weave, closed toe flat. Because I have a pair of jelly flip-flops. You've seen those. I had the like black suede studio. They're like leather at the bottom, the jelly like thong part. There's something about, I did buy a pair of like the mesh see-through flats last year. I think I wore them once somewhere. I just kept looking down. I was like, something isn't right. They just don't feel like, I think it just more comes down to like what feels like you.
Yeah.
I think that you can take so many risks with fashion. We're like, this isn't totally me today, but I'm having fun and I feel like a different person and like I'm kind of serving a different look, whatever. But there's just something I never reached for them. And I just feel like with the jellies, there's just something about them that felt like too adolescent on me maybe or something.
Yeah.
But styled in like a fun way, like I do like them on other people. I really do.
Yeah.
They're just something I don't know about. I mean, we don't have to do you don't have to, dabble in every trend either.
No,
so.
for sure. And honestly, last year, this is why I never say never, because sometimes things like at first I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But then after I see it and I see it styled in a way that feels like, oh, well, now I would do it like that, then I'll get on board. So I'm always like, never really say never.
Totally.
But last year when you brought up the jelly shoes, I agreed with you. I also think there are styles of the jelly shoe that I don't like. Like, I don't like the ones that look like Mary Jane's, like the children's ones with the strap, like the, you know what I mean? Like the Mary Jane strap. I think Target has them right now. I just saw. Yeah. Those I'm not into. But you remember like the vinyl sandals that like with the heel, PVC. Like I still have a pair. I haven't brought them out in a while, but I still have them. And I'm like, these feel like the flat version of that. Yeah. I also, this particular style that I have on, I like that it comes up higher on my foot. Like I saw some
a little edgier
the other day that like look more like a ballet flat, and it was. There wasn't. See, I tend to like it that it has the open weave because it gives more texture than just the flat clear, which it looks like you're walking around barefoot or like your
saran
foot.
Wrap.
It looks like your foot is wrapped in saran wrap.
What's the point? Lisa's has like a little bit of visual interest. Like the ones I sent you on Instagram.
Yes, where she was stepping out of the water and it just was like, what's happening there?
Yeah, flats are hard in general. It's funny because I do feel like it's also very determined based on like when you grew up and what you wore and what was really big and prominent in like trends or fashion, all of that. Like, it's so funny. My mom, very stylish. You've seen her. Yeah. She's what, 66, 67, 66. She can't even look at a flat, like a Mary Jane or like a flat. Like, or, I mean, she's got a pair of like kind of, I shouldn't say all flats, but like Mary Jane, some of those like rounded toe ballet flats that are really big right now.
Does she have the Chanel flats?
She does, the original OG. She's probably had.
I can see
she's
her
probably
in
had them
that.
for 20 years, like the black quilted or like nude. You know, totally. Like to me, I think she puts those in like a different category.
Yeah.
But she's like,
are
there's
really
something
good
about it. That's like what I think she's like. That's what I put you in as a little girl. They seem so young and whatever. And flats are hard in general. Like I tend to gravitate more towards like a square toe.
Yes.
Because they feel a little bit more modern and like a little bit edgier than like the kind of perfect rounded toe that's very just like sweet. And maybe I think that's what it is I don't necessarily define my style as like very sweet and feminine.
Right.
So if I'm wearing something that tends to skew a little more feminine, it's like I want to juxtapose it with something else that's offsetting that like vibe a little bit. But
you have a really strong flat game though.
Oh.
We've talked about this before. I'm like, I was never a flat girl either. There's something about it that just makes me feel like, yeah. And because I have bigger, I'm like an 8.5 to a 9. And so I don't know. I just feel like my legs are too thick for a flat. But I see you wear flats all the time and I think they look amazing. And I'm like, what? Every time I try them on, I'm just, but I agree with you. What I found for me that works is I do like a square toe. And I also like it when it comes back further on the foot. I don't like if I see any like toe cleavage because then I feel like there's too much foot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but I always like these are the, are these the Frida Salvador?
Yeah, I have them in nude and black. They're also just really comfy.
Yeah,
but,
those are really great.
They're also, it's a hard thing to style with bottoms too. Like I feel like I just get a lot of questions from people asking like, so I got these now, what kind of jean or pant do I wear with them? And like, can I wear with a short or a dress? I'm like, absolutely. But I think that more than ever, you probably yield these questions all the time with shoes and pant. I mean, you did a TV segment on it. Like
I did.
Pant styles are changing so much as are shoes, and it's like we're changing the game of like how to kind of. You can't just put any pair of jeans with a flat or a sneaker. You know, it's kind of like an interesting equation you have to strike the perfect balance or solve.
I also feel like after the pandemic, this is when really people struggle because no one was putting on shoes. We're wearing house slippers, and then all of a sudden you have to start wearing shoes again and actual pants, and people are like thrown, and then the styles have changed and whatnot. It is hard, but I'm also like, a lot of my clients don't have a full length mirror, and that is like the number one thing when I get there. I'm like, if we don't have a full length mirror when I leave, you need to go to Target and get like even one that's just like a $10 one that you pull out from your closet. Like, how do you know? What shoe to wear if you can't even see it?
And it can't be a public restroom.
Okay, yes.
We can get back to fashion. This is kind of fashion adjacent.
Yes. I was very triggered by this. So the Calm Down podcast with Erin Andrews and Carissa.
Also, when did Erin Andrews get so like...
Well, I've heard...
feisty.
Okay, well, I've heard... So who's the other one? Carissa... Carissa Thompson, I think? Or Thomas? Thomas or Thompson. I'm not sure who she is. You're fine. They're on the Calm Down podcast, and I followed them for a while, and then the other day, Erin Andrews went off on females taking selfies in a bathroom.
Public
restrooms. And I think restrooms in general.
She did say, like, I don't need to see where you, like, go poop or, like, go to the bathroom or what you're doing.
She went off. And what I didn't like about it was her tone. She was like, are we that thirsty? What are we, desperado, that we have to show our outfits? So what bothered me is she was making it about the fact that they were wanting to catalog and document their outfit.
Oh, I thought it was more, she was like disgusted that it was in a bathroom.
It was both. It was like, why do we feel we need to capture our outfit and post it? Nobody cares what you're wearing. That's what she was saying. Like, nobody cares what you're wearing. Are you that thirsty? Are you desperado?
Sorry, Erin, not everyone's following us around on like a football field to, like.
Right.
Also, like, who are you to say? I mean, we all know I love a good fit check in a mirror.
Yes.
But, okay.
So I listened
to the whole thing.
So I don't like the name calling.
No.
I also think that, like, why are women so quick to put women down for the fact that they felt good in their outfit and wanted to document it, maybe for nothing but themselves, to go back on and think of like a time and place when they look good, felt good, an outfit that they might want to repeat, and also to inspire other women.
It's just also like a total vehicle of self-expression for some people.
Yes,
like
I wanna see
some people, it's their home. Some people, it's their
I love to see what you're wearing when you go out to dinner with your husband.
Yeah.
And for me, I am much more confident when I'm holding the camera taking a picture than when I ask someone else to take my outfit picture. All of a sudden I get real awkward.
Yeah.
Except for here, because Nick and Taya do an amazing job of making me feel comfortable and giving me direction. But if I just ask Chris to snap a photo of me, I hate every single one of them.
Totally.
So I feel better.
200 to find
I know my exact angles. I can see where I'm moving. And also, like, I want to inspire people by my outfits.
Yeah,
I want them to say like, oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought to put that together. Or like, look, she is wearing the jelly shoe, you know, whatever it might be. And I care. I care what other people are wearing. I like to see it too. And some bathrooms I think are very Instagrammable.
Oh, like, the bathroom thing. Okay, so we'll get back to that. But the thing about the mirror fit checks and those photos, I feel like when I started doing it's funny because then you get women like DMing you or being like, I love that you showcase. It's like you inspired me to wear the Bermuda short, you know, whatever. Like, and it's nice to hear that. And it's not like anyone's doing it for gratification or compliments. It's truly just like a lot of people use.
And some people might, because you know what? Some people probably either don't have a significant other or don't have a significant other that uses words of affirmation. They might not have anyone in their life that is giving them any sort of validation or compliments. And so some people maybe are seeking that. And how does that affect you at all?
Unfollow. Like, don't,
Right. Yeah. If it triggers you, that's something with you. That's about you. That's not about them.
I have learned that a ton over the last few years, and it takes a lot of work to, like, acknowledge it. Like, everyone's so worried about what other people think, and really you shouldn't, because everyone's just thinking about themselves.
100%.
Like, I remember being like, I hope, because I think social media is tricky because you're so worried that you're not coming across like authentically, because people are going to form an opinion about you regardless based on what they see in these little squares and you know, in your story. And some people choose to share more, and some people share to use less or keep things pertinent to a topic, whether it's fashion, their work, professional, their family life, whatever. I remember being so worried about what I was sharing. I mean, what I do for a living is around fashion. It's always been ingrained in me. It's been, you know, something that just like makes me feel alive, and it's a way of self-expression. So I remember when I started posting like photos, whether they're mirror selfies or whatever, are people going to think this is so vain? It was like things that I kept, those little things that kept popping in my head. And it was like, who cares? Like literally who cares? Because there are going to be the Erin Andrews of the world that think it's, and those opinions will never get out of their heads. Because once people form an opinion about someone, it is what it is. And it's like, I think it's just gotten so toxic that people are so worried and offended about what people are doing on social media. And like the bathroom thing was so interesting. Like, was it really about the fact that you thought this was disgusting and gross, or did you just kind of want to chirp people taking outfit photos? Like, I don't think, maybe it makes me gross. I don't think anything of it if I see a toilet in the back of someone's photo. It doesn't even cross my mind.
There was one photo I remember where it was like, there was like a whole carousel that like went around of like, check your background, and there was like this woman trying to send a sexy picture, and there was like a turd in the toilet behind her. Like, that's hilarious. So do check your backgrounds. But also like
flush, please. That's hilarious.
It was so funny. But like here's the thing with the bathroom. Is like sometimes that is the only place that you have a full-length mirror to like take a photo, right? And I agree. If you're in a public restroom and you are blocking people from getting to the sink to wash their hands, or they're in the back, like you don't want anybody in the background of your photo that is just truly trying to go to the bathroom. So like be mindful,
like under the stall.
Be respectful of like the environment. But I don't think that there is anything rude or gross about taking it.
If I'm okay with the germs aren't jumping through my phone and getting you. Like it's like I don't really do a ton of public restroom bathrooms. I've never even thought about it. Never once have I thought twice that someone else did it. But like I was in the comments when you posted that video on your Instagram because I was just so curious what like the general consensus was. And then so many other people were like, yeah, and make sure, let's add to that, whether it's in your bedroom or if you're taking them in like a full-length dining room mirror or whatever, check your background. Like no one wants to see your unmade bed and your like messy surroundings. And that actually triggered me more because it was like, and I'm guilty of it. Like I have found like I'll go to take a photo and I'll look in the back and I'm like, oh, my bed's not made. Like I should go back there and make it. And it's like, it's kind of fake though. Like 2 or 3 days of the week, like that bed isn't getting made. It's like, who really cares? I think I thought we were moving away from like sheer perfection, overstyled homes. Like, because who lives like that? Like with, especially parents, your house is, you know, in a constant state of chaos half the time. I found that interesting. It was like, no one wants to see this like messy room with like clothes. And it's like, really? I feel like that's more relatable and just real.
When I first started with the blog, that's when I first started posting mirror selfies. And this was before we did the remodel in our bathroom. And so we had the like 90s jacuzzi tub in the corner. And my only full length mirror was like the door to my closet. And so that tub served as like a placeholder for my clothes. Like clothes were constantly just like thrown over the side of it. And I would just leave it because from day one, I have just been showing up as I am. sometimes I'll kick shit out of the side. If it's going to go on the feed, I'll like push it out of the way. But even you the other day when I was sending you my swimsuits, I couldn't decide which swimsuit. I was like, this or that. You like
jellies.
You zoomed in and you're like, did we do some panic shopping before this trip? Because there was boxes of like new clothes and stuff everywhere. And that is just it. Why are we judging? That's what annoys me. It's like, why is this triggering you? There's something going on in your life that is very triggering by what everybody else is doing, and it has nothing to do with them.
I can't get over.
I don't know. Last year, back to the bathroom thing. I was traveling.
You got, bullied online.
Yes, I did.
Didn't you?
I was traveling. I was in Nashville, and I like to show. I always do airport photos too. Like I like to show what I'm wearing on a plane because a lot of people
I think get in. People are really confused about what to wear when they travel. Actually, because you want to still look put together.
Yeah.
Comfort is obviously
especially
key.
if it's like a morning flight and you're going to go right to like your day. Like I don't want an outfit change. I want something that goes right from there to there. And so I usually show like, here's what I wore. And then sometimes I'll show if I like do a quick change when I get there, like a shoe or take off the sweater and drape it or whatever, I'll show that too. And I was in Nashville and I'd taken a photo in the bathroom of my outfit, and this mean woman came at me and she was like, enough with the bathroom selfies. And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, why is this bothering you? And she's like, you're better than that. And I was like, the fuck I am.
You don't know me.
You don't know me. So
that could have been me.
It could have been me. So ever since then, I, out of spite, post bathroom selfies, and those who follow me know, and they're always like laugh. Like those who are there from that day are always like, God, I love you in your bathroom selfies. Like I've even taken one when I was like in a jumpsuit and completely, you find yourself completely naked in the stall and like you don't wear a bra with it. And I like, take it from the neck up and I'm like, oh, here I am naked in the bathroom. I find it funny. Yeah. I was just so put off. I unfollowed them. I was so put off by the tone of that. And then a lot of people did actually, or not a lot, some people who happen to know Erin or like have people that know Erin personally are like, oh, this is like, she's actually not like a girl's girl. Like she's kind of mean to women and it's not like a woman supporting women girl. And I was like, well, then that was the right
par for the course a little bit for her. Yeah.
To unfollow her.
Yeah. I can't believe there's so many hot opinions about bathroom.
Yeah. Selfies. And also if you don't like it, don't do it. If you're not comfortable with it, don't do it. Totally. Don't shame me. Yeah. Why are we shaming anyone? I just am
I know.
That is one thing that you will never see from me is I don't put anyone on blast for like the way that they are choosing to show up. I can see somebody, and there are even stylists. The thing about being a stylist, and we maybe talked about this before, is like anyone can call themselves a stylist. There's no educational path that you have to take. No one gives you that title. And there are some stylists out there that I will say are steering women in the wrong direction. Like it's dated, it's not the right advice, or it's too much about the rules and less about like finding your own unique style. And I would never like come at any of them for what they wore. I would never give anyone my unsolicited opinion. I would never snap a photo of someone behind their back that I see out in public and then put them on blast. I can't. That is like my pet peeve. Whenever I see that, I will enter the comments and be like, let's not.
Totally. Well, because fashion's like art. That's like telling an artist that their painting is...
Just don't buy the painting if you don't like it.
Yeah, it's all so subjective.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are too many people that have opinions. And it's...
Amen.
There are bigger issues going on right
100%.
now.
100%. It's like, can't we just have this small thing that makes us feel like good?
That makes you feel like you.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like when Elizabeth Reese was on, we were talking about this because she'll get emails and comments from viewers all the time. And it's like, you're on live television and you open your email and you see someone calling you, like having an opinion on what you wore. That's happened to me once before I went on TV. And I was like, that sucks.
That's right. Wasn't something a look that you curated or something?
It was what I was wearing.
Something you were wearing.
Yeah. I had put like a vest over a dress or something. And she was like, ew, that's terrible or something. And I was like, oh, well, that's really kind. I'm literally going on live in 5, 4, 3, 2, you know what I mean? Like, I just like, you can think that. You can absolutely think that. You can go to brunch with your girlfriends and you can pull it up and you can talk about it. I don't care. But don't come at me with that.
I'm like fascinated behind the psychology of those that take it upon themselves to actually say something or belittle someone and hide behind a comment on Instagram. I'm like, I want to see what you are doing in your house right now and what are you wearing? And like, it's like that. It just those
they
people
are rotting
sad.
on their couch.
Yes, 100%. Like
scrolling all day. firing off hate. It's so sad. Anyway, let's talk about trends. What are you loving for summer right now?
It's a fun, like, to witness the shift from total, like, quiet luxury, minimalistic, like, to more personality dressing and, like, textures everywhere. Whether it's, like, beading, shells, you know, texture, like open weaving, macrame, fringe, all of that. That's fun.
Is this like the fisherman?
Yeah, kind of, but that's funny because I like hate the cores.
Yeah.
Oh, it's social media's fault. It's TikTok's fault.
What does that even mean?
It's like a micro trend. Like it's like
why do we put core?
Just like fisherman core. Like that's like kind of like what you're giving, and that's like the vibe that you're embodying.
Okay. Like at the core of you is
like yes, like yeah.
Okay.
So, but I feel like too. I've been doing a ton of reading. I wrote a piece on this actually because it was like TikTok and mostly TikTok actually. It's like they're actually speeding up the trend cycle even more than the trend cycle actually is because we're jumping on this, we're claiming these things are micro trends, and then it's just like this inundation and like constant revolving door of just like content and ideas and pieces being shoved down our throats. And it's just like things aren't having the shelf life. Even more the fashion cycle in general before social media and all that is quick, right? Yeah. Like new season, new everything. So yeah, fisherman core, I feel like I've seen everywhere. And all of that can be like taken with a grain of salt. Like some people take all those things too far. Like if you're gonna wear an open weave bag, like maybe don't wear a boat shoe with it. Like and a striped blue button down. Like you can start to look you can look a little too like caricature.
Yes.
Like,
Costuming.
That's why I have a hard time with like trends in general, because it's like it's fun to get ideas and then like put your own spin on it. Like how would you wear it? Like, whether even with your dress and your jellies. Like it's like a fun like yeah, so I don't know, that's fun. What else am I liking for her?
I do like the shells because it brings me back to our runway show 2 springs ago, La Cabana. And we had Marley, Play by Marley, make all
her jewelry was great in that show.
All the shell jewelry and even the shell shoes. I actually almost I have a great pair of heels that I kept from the show that have David sewed some shells right on the top of them. They looked much better with this outfit, but I had to wear the jellies for you.
Yeah, but like all of that like texture is really fun.
I also love pool jewels.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Like that's where I would wear, like I would stack on some of the shells with like a swimsuit. Actually, I should do that before I go to Florida. I need to find some new pool jewels.
Yeah, and just like all the beading is really fun. I feel like it's just very much like more is more, personality dress, like maximalism. Like even like the colors out right now are great. Obviously the yellows, kind of like the greens are really great. What else? What are you liking?
Okay, so let's talk about more is more because we just had our spring runway show, the Oval Room, that David and I did. And I would say that this is I don't know how to say this right. If it's like I don't want to say the least amount of styling, but it was the most minimalist in terms of styling on the runway that I have done in all 5 seasons. And I did that by choice, even though we're coming into this like maximalist.
No. I feel like we're.
What's your thoughts on that? Did you feel like it was missing anything?
No. But also like
because that's been some of the feedback actually.
Oh really?
Yes, some of the feedback has been. I think the feedback has been some people who like grew up in Oval Room and knew Oval Room weren't drawn, like were expecting more
direct interpretation.
Yes, where we tried to set the stage from the beginning of like this is modern day. It's more about the experience, about this idea of like getting dressed up to go shopping again because it feels so special and it's the latest.
Yeah.
These are the top brands. Yeah. This is what all the New York and Paris girls are wearing. Yeah. And so I just wanted to really embody like luxury in that way. But I think some people, that was some of the, I mean,
interesting.
It was all positive in general of like, we loved the show. They loved the experience. But some people were like, I think I was expecting more Oval Room. Okay. And I think with Oval Room too also comes like the Chanel bags.
Right.
And we don't put designer handbags on the runway because I think that it immediately takes away. And it says, I can just slap on a Chanel brooch, I can just slap on a Chanel bag, and all of a sudden the whole thing looks very expensive. Yeah. And for me, I want people to really focus in on some of the details and like the color pairings and like the interesting shoe choice.
I could have told you that was going to happen with the OG like old guard.
Yeah.
Like,
and I knew that too. Like,
because they just don't, I mean,
David,
like,
I was like, I'm concerned.
Oval Room and Dayton's is just such a nostalgic place for so many people that it's like, you'll never be able to get out of your head like what that was, and like living in like the glory days of this bygone department store that played such a big role, and it was like an institution for so many that like no one can like even change flip their brain a little bit to understand that, like, this is just more of like we're gaining inspiration from kind of what this embodied and then giving out, you know, a modern interpretation on it. Like, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But also, like, same with social media. You can't please everybody.
No, you can't please everybody.
Who cares?
And then a couple other people were saying, well, one in particular, but I love him and adore him, and I take his feedback to heart because he always has such great interpretations of the runway. But he had said, he's like, I was expecting more accessorizing. Okay. And that's where I would say I went with more statement pieces, like big statement earrings from Milana style, big statement rings, but it wasn't all stacked on, because sometimes I feel like, especially Minnesota fashion runways, it can get messy if you add too many accessories. This is not to knock anyone's style. It's also personal point of view. But I feel like sometimes it can feel a bit messy. You don't know where to look. When they're walking by quick and your eyes are bouncing because there's so much happening, like I just kind of wanted this like slow from the head all the way down to the shoe.
I thought you did great. Again, it's also personal point of view. I tend to be... I like to keep looks a little more simple. Whether I have like one accessory and that's the hero and then kind of style around it, or the look is the look and then like figuring out how to fill in those gaps with accessories. But I think that's where look can really go wrong, is when you just start to pile a bunch of stuff on, or too many layers, or drapes, or shoulder
or things
drapes,
that compete.
like,
you know, like you said, like if you have too much texture in like the bag and the shoe and the short, you know, it can really feel like it's all competing against each other. So I tried to keep it more about like perfect fit.
Yeah.
And like one thing unexpected.
I really loved it. I thought it was refreshing and different, and it really let you focus on the clothes. And I think that that's where a lot of stylists probably get into a conundrum where they're like, does this not show enough off of what my like point of view as a stylist is? Because that you probably felt that, right? Like, but I think that sometimes less is more. We're just keeping it simple, but you're like, oh, do I have to add another thing to show like I made this my own kind of interpretation, whatever. And I think that that's not how we should be thinking as people who, you know, want to bring something to life on a runway. Yeah.
I mean, and I just get in my own head all the time because, again, to your point, like you can't please everyone. But I'm also like, since I've been doing this for 5 years now, I start to feel like I have a lot more confidence. And like the other thing too is I don't want anyone to ever leave our runway show and go, oh, that was clearly like, here's another show by them. Like, I want it to feel different every time. And sometimes that is like doing a little bit less. And also that's where I'm at now. I feel like I used to be very much print on print, more is more is more. And I think I've kind of calmed down a bit and more of just like having like one or two focal points, and still that's something unexpected. But
totally. Yeah. That's a hard balance to strike. Like, stripes are really big right now, right? Like polka dots, like some of those fun patterns that are like super big this spring and summer. And it's really hard to find a way to like mix stripes, I personally think, like the right way. Like I think that just sometimes it's kind of like the wrong shoe theory, you know, how people kind of go, and sometimes it can look like very intentional, like, oh, you really nailed it, or it's just like you're trying so hard to be like avant-garde and like so fashion, where it's like your looks just kind of like, I don't even know where I'm looking at, like kind of thing. I think it's just it's interesting. I don't know. But it's funny you say that people had opinions.
Which you know, if it's done in a respectful...
Hey, if they're talking...
Yes. If it's done in a respectful way, I'm open to feedback.
I say no press is bad press.
Yeah.
So...
That's fair.
I guarantee they're going to buy a ticket to the next show. So...
For sure. Because it's a whole experience and it's fun, and we love to keep them guessing. But thank you for always supporting our shows. Of course. And keep posting your outfit photos, because I do go back to your page a lot of times I feel like in the last like year, maybe 2 years, you've really started showing up a lot more with your style. And I love it. And I go back sometimes if I'm like, oh, I remember you had wore, like for flats, like I remember you wore something, and I would go back and I'll like look to see what you wore it with to get some inspiration. Also, Madeline has a Substack now.
Oh, I do. Yes. Yeah, that's been fun. Really great. It's just Substack, and then my handle's mad for, and basically it's kind of just that. I'm showing things that I'm mad for in the space, whether it's like my own outfits, tips and tricks. I'm trying to really like hone in on that a little bit more and prioritize that as a platform, because it's a growing platform for creatives. It's not just writers. People show up in many different ways. It's a nice little creative outlet. And I've just gotten a lot of really good positive feedback.
You're such a strong writer.
Well, it's fun. It's just like second nature to me. So it's fun to reach those people that like you have to subscribe, and you can either follow people or subscribe. I've yet to do any like monetize it or turn on like pay to play stuff. But yeah, it's nice to get some of that feedback from people. Like, do more of this. I really liked this. Or I feel like I get, like we just talked about, get in my own head about sharing those things, whether it's on Instagram or, you know, Substack's kind of like that little, like, it's in this corner and you can do whatever you want and not feel like you're like, people are just a little bit more protective over what they're sharing on Instagram, I think. Or some people are. And I found myself kind of like retracting a little bit and being like, I don't know, do people actually want to see this? And it's nice to hear feedback from people being like, no, I literally go to this for inspiration. Or like, for sure. I'll get questions or like, you know, all of that. And it's like, okay, like if I'm helping one person, then, you know.
Yeah, you're doing an amazing job with it. I like that sometimes I get stuck of like, where are we shopping now? Like I get like stuck in the same old, and I feel like you do a good job of like finding different brands and different places to shop. Also, I loved that, like, you did a vacation one, and then I actually saw you wearing, like, 90% of the things that you posted on your vacation, which I appreciate, because sometimes I feel like the fashion influencers will link to all this stuff that they're not actually wearing.
They're like, what kicks back the largest percentage
like,
if you use
she actually is wearing it and knows about sizing and knows how to fit her. So subscribe, follow her there. Thank you, Madeline, for always coming on.
Thank
you.
you.
For hours. We'll have her back again monthly. Get back into our routine.
Yes, we won't do another 3-month hiatus or whatever it was.
Nope, we're back.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.